Howdy, howdy, boys and girls. Welcome back to Mr. Herring's 5th grade online math lessons. Today we are going to be wrapping up our unit on financial literacy with balancing a budget. All right, so today we're discussing balance a budget. Before we start that, I want to quickly review some things we've learned so far. So I've got a couple of diagrams here. On the left, we have expenses, and on the right we have income. So on this side we're going to make a list of expenses, things that could be expenses. On this side, things that qualify as income. So let's talk about expenses for a second. If you want to pause the video and write down a few things and see if they match up with mine, you can do that, or you can just listen along as I write in some things that qualify as expenses that we talked about yesterday or 2 days ago. So expenses. First expense I think of is a haircut because I really need one right now. A haircut. I buy a soda, which I do very often. Another expense, I pay rent. Another expense, oh, I had to fix my truck. Another expense, let's see. Oh, I saw a movie that I really wanted to see. Okay. And lastly, oh, here's one we talked about. I buy a video game. Now, what do those all have in common? All these things have in common. I subtract money from my account. I am taking away money from my account. Those are called expenses. Good job. How about income? What are ways we can get income? Again, you can pause the video if you like and sketch down a few ideas, or you can just listen and see if they match up with mine. All right, so if you want to pause, you can pause now. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead. Income. First and foremost, my job as a teacher, my paycheck. I had a bake sale. I like to bake sometimes. Oh, let's see. I found money on the street. Let's see what else. Oh, my income tax return. I was lucky this year. I got money back from the income tax. I paid too much. They sent me money back. Another income. Another income could be, oh, I got a, I won money on a lottery ticket. That's a fun one, a lottery ticket. How else could I get money? Oh, I sold some shoes that I no longer wear, like my Nikes. Okay, a lot of ways we can get income, right? What do these things all have in common? They all give me money. I earn money. All right? So that's expenses and income. So now let's talk about balancing a budget. Today I can balance a budget. What does it mean to balance a budget? When you hear the word balance, that is a big word there, balance. When you hear the word balance, you should be thinking of things being equal. Two things being equal. Like A is equal to A. Okay? So how do I balance a budget? What does that mean? Well, debt, debits, or expenses in this model are more than my income. So this means I am not making enough money to pay for all of these expenses. That is a bad thing. That's a negative thing. Bad, bad, bad. We don't want to have more debt than our income, okay? That'd be a bad thing. We can get in trouble. Your credit could be damaged, okay? What's wrong with this model? Well, this model, our income is more than my debt. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If I make more money than I'm spending, that's a good thing because that means I'm doing something with that money that I didn't spend. So this is not balanced, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. it's kind of a good thing, right? You always want to make more money than you spend, all right? So let's talk about that. What happens when I make more money than I spend? Well, look at this model here. My debt, my negatives are equal to my positives. So my purchases and expenses are equal to how much money I make. That could be a good thing. This is a balanced budget. Now, some of you might be saying, Ms. Herring, what if I make a little bit more than what I spend? And that's a great question. Okay, so here's an example of how to balance a budget. So Mary works at a pet parlor, sweeping up pet hair. Her pay is $9.50 per hour. She saw a shirt at Target that cost $29.99 and a pair of shoes that cost $32.99. The question is, how many hours will she have to work in order to purchase both of these items? Any extra money she earns will be placed in her savings account so that her budget is balanced. So there's the answer. If I have money left over, what can I do with it? Well, you can either spend it on something silly, or you can put it in a savings account. Well, her expenses were $29.99 and $32.99, which is like 30 and 33, which is 63. So $62.97 is how much she wanted to spend. So how many hours will she have to work in order to get $62.97? Now, I am going to look at the whole number, $9 an hour. And I'm going to round down for a second. Just bear with me. $62.97 is close to $63. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 6 is only 54. 54 is way too little. So 9 times 7, $9.50 times 7 hours gives me $66.50. Does that give her enough to buy the two items? Yeah, it does. It's actually more than what she needs. So that means she's going to have more left over. So is this a balanced budget? And the answer is no. It's not balanced because I have some left over. So I need to subtract $66.50 minus $62.97. So that means she's going to have left over $3.53 to put into savings. Now we have a balanced budget. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If my income is more than my expenses, it's not balanced. I have to put that whatever's extra into a savings to make it balanced. Or I could just go buy something for $3.53. But that wouldn't be the smart, financially smart thing to do. Okay? Right. So here's another example. I kind of like this example. All right. Per hour working in flower beds, this person makes $12.50 per hour. Okay? $12.50. These are the expenses for this person. This person has expenses of $43. How many hours will you have to work in order to balance your budget? Well, if this person works 4 hours, 4 times 12 is 48. 4 times 50 cents is $2. So that's going to give me a total of $50. How much were the expenses? $43. So what do we see here? We see that $43 is less than $50. So that is not balanced. So what could I do to balance it? Well, yeah, we'd subtract 50 minus 43, which gives me $7. And I put that $7 into a savings to balance my account. So I've added $7, which is more than which is $50 minus $43. Put it in my savings. Now I have a balanced budget. Okay? All right, so what did we learn today? We learned that a budget must be balanced. You should always have more income than your expenses. When you have more income than expenses, the leftover should go into a savings so that your budget is balanced. And I will add one thing. If you continue to put your money, your extra, your leftovers into savings, then eventually you can save up for a lot of really good things. And the most important thing you could save up for are those unexpected expenses. Sometimes really bad things happen. Cars get damaged, cars get broken, you can't get to work, you have a plumbing problem in your house, and things like that that you have to get fixed. And a savings will help you continue to have a balanced budget because you won't be taking money out of your income, you'll be taking it out of your savings. All right? All right, and that wraps up our financial literacy unit, guys. What you can do if you need to go back and review the vocabulary, because this unit is very heavy on vocabulary, I would suggest going over all of the lessons, starting with taxes, and make sure your vocabulary is sound. All right, best of luck. Be sure to email me if you have any questions. All right, good luck, guys. We'll see you around. Stay healthy.